rhythm. I was born a Gemini. And then it's gonna be I can see the old. All the rhythm that we worked on before. So I want you to say all of that. Okay, and then detail remembering. Saying all of this. So this is kind of the intro. And you like that. You have to be those song with the 2 stanzas making up for the the theme song. So I want you to sing both of these now. Okay, wonderful. And then after that, and by the way, we're going to be singing this song with the accompaniment of the song that we were listening to. But just without the singing to it. That's going to be cut out. My curators are finding a way to do that. So finding a recording. Okay, so, and then it's going to be, shall we start a fire chorus? Okay, so I'm just going to write that, and I'm not going to, write the lyrics because it repeats. So, shall we start a fire chorus? And then it's going to be I was born a Gemini chorus. So let's get up to there for today. So, it's going to sound like this. So I'm going to sing the Shall We Start a Fire chorus. So it's going to be, okay, so, shall we start a fire off? Shall we start a fire? 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 So on that fire, kind of make the ending a little bit like fire, kind of like that, like kind of like cutting enough, so that fire doesn't really hold until it gets to shall we start a fire off. Okay, so that's how long that you should hold that. And as a bonus, the thing to do is shall we start a fire? So a slight drop down. So, shall we start a fire? That wasn't right. Shall we start a fire? Let's not do that. That's a little extra touch. But we don't need to do that. We don't need to worry about it. So, okay. And then the shall we start a fire, remember, as I sang it already. So, speak it in rhythm. Actually. So, shall we start a fire? 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 Okay. So actually speak that, please. Okay. So now I want you to sing it. Remember. Shall we start a fire? Shall we start a fire? So actually it's going to be a little bit more extended. So, shall we start a fire? Shall we start a fire? Okay, so this is how it's going to sound. Shall we start a fire? Shall we start a fire? Shall we start a fire? So, it's going to be, shall we start a fire? Shall we start a fire? Shall we start a fire? It's going to be more, quick. So, actually, I'm going to go back to what I said before. So, shall we start a fire? 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 Fire! You can do that if you want to, but just don't make it noticeable if you're going to do it. So, shall we start a fire? Okay, so actually sing it. That's the Shall We Start a Fire chorus. Okay, and I hope that I'm getting that shall word right. Remember, I might teach you something, and I might make it abundantly clear. We might practice it over and then over and again. And I might change something. I might take something out. I might add something in, okay? Okay, so, then the Gemini chorus. So, and then it's, so the Gemini chorus. Okay, so, I was born a Gemini, I was born a Gemini, I was so, I was born a Gemini, 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 and then it's gonna be, and then I was born a Gemini, 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 It's gonna be held. Okay, so that's the Gemini chorus. Okay, so remember, 2 times for each of those. Okay, so I want you to, so in rhythm it would be, and then so, I was born a Gemini, I was born a Gemini, and then when you're singing Gemini, it's gonna be, it's gonna be, I was born a Gemini, so it's gonna be a little bit different on that one, so, so the first one's gonna be Gemini, so that's how it's gonna be, okay, so, let's start at the beginning. So the beginning is, I was born a Gemini, I was born a Gemini, so it's gonna be, I was born a Gemini, 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 so I was born a Gemini, I was born a Gemini, that's a little twist, and it's gonna be, I was born a so then Gemini, I was born a Gemini, and then it's gonna be, I was born a Gemini, I was born a Gemini, it's gonna repeat again, so Gemini after that, okay, then it's gonna be, I was born a Gemini, and then it's gonna be, I was born a Gemini, I was born a Gemini, I was born a Gemini. So it's gonna be, I was born a Gemini, off. Okay, so that's the full I was born a Gemini chorus. Okay, so in rhythm, I'm gonna review this rhythm with you. So, I was born a Gemini, 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 Gemini. So on that, so I was born a Gemini, on Gemini. Like that, and then it's gonna be, I was born a Gemini, and then, so I was born a Gemini, I was born a Gemini, I was, I was born a Gemini, I was born a Gemini, again that drop, and then it's gonna be, I was born a Gemini, I was born a Gemini, I was born a Gemini, off. Okay, so, alright, did everyone get that? Did everyone get it? Because that was a lot of stuff. Okay, so it's gonna sound like this. It's gonna sound like this when I'm playing it on the keyboard. So in the music form, it's going to be, so, I was born a Gemini, 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 I was born, okay, so, yeah, slow. So, I was born a Gemini, I was born a Gemini, I was born a Gemini, I was Gemini, I was born a Gemini, 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 Gemini, I was born a Gemini. So I was actually, that's gonna change. So I was born a Gemini, Gemini, I was born a Gemini, Gemini. I was born a Gemini, a Gemini. Off. Okay. So actually, I just want you to speak that in rhythm as best as you can, please. Okay. And remember the melody. So I was so going slowly. It's gonna be actually rhythm again, going slow. So okay. Let's do melody. So I was born a Gemini, Gemini. I was born a Gemini, Gemini. I was born a Gemini, Gemini. I was born a Gemini. Gemini, Gemini, that's the funky one. And then I was born. And then it's gonna be I was born on that. I was born a Gemini. So I was born a Gemini, Gemini. I was born a Gemini, Gemini. I was born a Gemini, Gemini. I was born a Gemini. Gemini, I was born a Gemini, Gemini, I was born a Gemini, Gemini. I was born a Gemini, off. Okay, so sing that as best as you can. Okay? We'll worry about the little details later, okay, wonderful. Alright, so amazing. We're all doing amazingly well with this. So, we're going to come back to this sometime. Okay, so now it's your lunch break.